recording. Cool. 2 seconds. Okay. Cool. So let's see if anything's here. Andrew from funding, Fintan from Link, me from community, Sebastian from all kinds, and Ryan, and Thomas from upstream. So I think we have everybody. So why don't we just get started, right? Is that good? Thumbs up from everybody? Everybody's cameras look so good. Aw, that was good. Everybody gave me a thumbs up. That was amazing. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna unmute the stream and move us to video call. Okay, cool. Awesome. So we're live. Welcome everybody to the 5th Radical Community Call, closing up October today on this Wednesday. We have a shorter stream today. We don't have a community speaker since we have some folks on vacation. And I was at LizCon last week representing Radicle at ETH Lisbon and LizCon, which was a great crypto gathering. We're just going to do core team updates today. But if I understand correctly, we do have a couple demos. So again, for those joining, this is recorded. So if there's issues with the stream, seeing the screens, like don't worry, we post it all on YouTube in high fidelity, so we'll be able to see it there. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Let me know if there's any audio issues, as there usually are, in the chat as well. So yeah, let's get started. I think I'll pass it off to Fintan because you're right in front of me on the screen. If you want to start with the link update.
Cool, sounds good. Let me share my screen. You may hear some cute little English accents in the background because I'm at my sister's house. So hopefully that won't be too distracting. Okay. Does everyone see my screen so far?
Yes.
Cool. All right, let's get into the short and snappy presentation for Radicle Links updates. So since the last time we talked, we've had 4 release cycles. So every week we tag the tip of our mainline branch with all the updates, and so the links here in the slides are actually just to the GitHub tags themselves, but you can also look at there's a releases page which will show all the notes in those tags, or you can pull them directly and use some Git tooling to look at the messages. But I'll give a quick update to what in those. So on the protocol side, Kim did some work for kind of like foundations of replication v3. So that included handling legacy and v2 clients. So we're moving to Git v2, which will be part of the replication improvements. We also removed the kind of replication of replication due to some concurrency complications, but that will be improved down the line with replication v3 and playing around with that more. On the CLI side of things, there is some fix to project creation, thanks to Cloudhead for messing around with the CLI and spotting that there was some stuff that was broken. I got to fixing that. I also noticed from using the CLI that I was never displaying any of the URLs, which made for bad ergonomics. So now when projects and persons are printed to the terminal, the URLs are also printed alongside them. And thanks to Thomas for pointing out that tracking relationships weren't in the CLI, so those are now added, and people can start playing around with those a bit more. I'll go into collaborative objects next, actually. Sorry about any crying you may hear in the background. So Alex has got a patch series up and is getting feedback, and we're awaiting a reroll of that patch series. And then on the mailing list, on Radicle link mailing list on SourceHut, there's discussion around issues and patches, and look out for any RFCs coming to you soon. And then for contributions, as I said, we're kind of moving towards using the mailing list more permanently. So the contributing document in the Radicle link repo says how to contribute via the mailing list, and we've added some bash scripts to make this easier. And then on the side of kind of upcoming work, I'm currently working on an RFC regarding tracking and improvements towards tracking. And then there will be a future RFC built on top of that. But I'm sure that'll be mentioned by the time the next community call rolls out. But if you want to keep in touch or keep an eye on things, the SourceHut Radicle link mailing list is the place to be. That is it. I shall stop sharing. Yeah, there you go.
Any questions for Link team? Nope.
Just the way I like it.
Just the way you like it. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Fintan. So now we'll pass it off to upstream team. Thomas, you want to give an update?
Yes. Let me also share my screen. Oh no. Only allows me to select the windows by names like Mozilla Firefox, and I have like 1,000 of these open. So let me disconnect my screen so I can share my whole screen. Give me a sec.
I think you're muted. I see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, now I'm unmuted. Now I am sharing my entire screen. Okay, can you see? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is this font size big enough? I'm showing you.
Yes.
All right, thanks. This is the update for the upstream for October. I'm sharing with you the post on radicle.community, so you can read up on this again there. Should have all the necessary information and links. So after doing a lot of work on Ethereum-related stuff, we're now shifting our focus to our new midterm goal, which is code collaboration. Again, and specifically dog fooding this. What we want to do is we as upstream team members, we want to contribute through upstream, mainly by accepting pull requests or what we call patches. So this is our goal, and make all the necessary improvements to actually achieve this. And the first blocker is actually replication reliability. So right now we have a lot of issues with code not being replicated, people not seeing other people's contribution. And so before we can actually continue on improving the collaboration experience and like adding some new features there, we need to make this more reliable. And this means specifically we want to test it more thoroughly. For now, this means like manual tests with various setups and just seeing what can go wrong, to get an overview of like the issues that other people reported and see if we can replicate them and find out more about them. We also are going to take a more active role in fixing these replication issues, and when necessary, like doing some quick hacks and fixes to just get things going. This is our main goal right now. Like not so not too much like towards something sustainable. This is what kind of the replication v3 and the new Radicle link architecture is for, but really we want to get it working now as quickly as possible so that we can develop these new features. And the last thing related to replication is that we take ownership of running our own seed nodes and potentially maintaining our own seed node code that is specifically geared towards our use cases so that we can just like iterate on this faster and fix stuff more quickly. And yeah, then hopefully we can backport this to other seed nodes like Cloud Heads, org nodes, yeah, and things like that. What that means though is, I already mentioned, is that the migration to the new Radicle link architecture is taking a back seat. We discussed this thoroughly, and the new application architectures should like solve a lot of these replication issues and provide better tooling and better introspectability. But it's also going to take some time until this fully rolled out. And since we are focused on getting something working quickly, we decided to deprioritize this over these quicker fixes to replication. And I think that for us, we discussed this in length, and this approach makes more sense at the moment. In the meantime, while we are fixing the replication issues, we are also rethinking how we present projects from a visual and design perspective. This is some like fairly old code, and so we thought it might be a good idea to take a fresh look at this and yeah, improve on the design there to make all this more accessible. And finally, kind of, if you're interested, there's a couple of things that also got done on the side that are not really related to it, but might be interesting. I think the coolest thing is really that we extracted the upstream design system now from the app. So we made it independent. It's still not its own package, but it's now independent enough that people can actually use this and use a design language that is common to upstream if they're building Svelte apps. So if you're interested in that, check it out. And if you need help, we are always there on Discord to help you out with this. If you want a more concrete overview of the tasks we accomplished, you can go to the October cycle plan and see more details. That's it from my side. Any questions?
Maybe I missed it, but can you just remind me where the design system can be found? If anybody wants to.
So the
embed.
design system can now be found in the repo.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I'll link to it in the community updates
Yeah, that'd be great.
on Discourse.
Cool.
Any more
other
questions?
Okay, cool. Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks.
Awesome. So let's move on to the alt clients team. I think we'll have actually, let's do funding first, because funding has just a shorter update, and I know that we have a larger demo from the alt clients team. So maybe Andrew, you want to hop on and do a quick update?
Sure, yeah, I'd love to. I'm going to kill my video just because I'm not sure how good my connection is here, so I think try to optimize for audio. Let's see, and I will try to share my screen. That's not what I wanted to do. Trying out Google presentation this time, but actually I liked Thomas's idea of doing it in Discourse, so maybe we'll try that next time. Oops, okay.
I think Discourse is nice because then we can kind of keep a log of them, since these presentations are harder to coordinate in post.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, this is what I was looking for. That's funny. Okay, cool. So here's the update for us, kind of high level, for the Radicle funding team. So you know, as mentioned last month, we've been really focused on the delivering MVP of the community tokens, and I'll actually give. We're not quite all the way there to like a full mainnet release, but we're getting quite close, and I can give a little demo after this of what we're working on. But just high level, we've done 4 smart contract deployments to Rinkeby so far. Manuel and Igor have done amazing work, you know, just pushing a lot of code, making a lot of improvements to those contracts. Everett's been working hard on the web app. It's live under iterative development. We'll be showing that in a second. And then lots of gas optimizations in the smart contracts as well. I think, you know, last month, one of the updates I gave was that we were feature complete on the smart contracts. That was actually not correct. That's my bad. I totally forgot that we didn't have drips in yet, which is an important and somewhat complex feature. And also, I think we ended up, you know, even though we were sort of close to feature complete in that sense, you know, one thing that we really needed to do that I think I had underestimated at least was the amount of gas optimization, even for, you know, the MVP. Some of these operations were quite expensive in practice, and so Igor and Manuel have done a great job of making the cost much more reasonable to actually use these contracts. So that'll be important for you know, testing this with beta with projects with actual funds. So so you know, what do we have today in test? Maintainers can create funding projects. So this is, you know, just to remind everyone, this is a project maintainer wants to raise funds by issuing these community tokens. They can do that now. We'll show that in a second. Supporters can come to those project pages and fund the project and receive community tokens. And maintainers and supporters can both browse projects and view any tokens that support tokens that they've purchased. So that's kind of where we are today. And then what remains is still in development is, you know, we want to have custom SGV token graphics so that these community tokens can kind of have some standard elements, but also can be fully customizable by projects to add like their project logo, and even ultimately change how the whole thing is laid out. So kind of a nice flexible design system for the graphics so that we can show, you know, relevant information like the name of the project, you know, the amount of DAI being contributed each month, but also allow some nice customizability, and then the drip functionality, you know, that allows projects to drip funds that they receive to contributors or to other projects that they they depend on, or that they just find inspiring. So I think I'll give the demo next before we go to the next up. So we'll just jump right into that. So this is the, and apologies in advance for, actually didn't necessarily plan to demo this today. So we've just been hard at work on development. So this is very much like test data. But this is the project explore page. So this is where these are just sort of sample project names. But I think obviously in production these would be the names of open source projects being funded. You can kind of browse them and jump into them. See if we can click into one of these. Right now this is pretty basic, but you can see the project page, and you can see if it will show us the users that are funding it. And I guess this is actually what's being funded by that address. Okay, so let me jump back, and we'll just jump through the flow to create a new one of these projects. Show you guys what that looks like. Actually, I can just jump to it here. Okay, so let's say we wanted to create a project on Radicle funding to raise funds. We'll just say it's the community call project. This is a realistic open source project, but and it is. So it comes down here. It asks us whether we want to issue tokens that have a subscription membership fee or a one-off contribution. The one-off is actually not available right now. I think that's something we're going to add later. You can set a minimum monthly rate and DAI that members will have to meet or exceed to support the project, and we'll just leave it at 1, and we'll go next. And some of this is a little bit multi-step right now. We're working on making an update to how this interacts with MetaMask. So, but right now it'll pop up this MetaMask notification. You can see, and you have to agree, and I'm confirming this is all in Rinkeby. We'll confirm it, and it says creating. So we'll wait for that transaction to go through. You should get an update in a second here. Fingers crossed.
It's always so awkward to demo Web3 stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like I'm getting. I think I can. Let's see, how do I show that? It's like blocking the notification. Let's see.
It's blocking the MetaMask notification.
It said it was a Google Chrome notification, but I don't know if it was actually MetaMask like coming through Google Chrome. Yeah, of course it's a demo, so it's going to do this. I'm just going to try one more time, I think, and see if we can just. Yeah, I'm not sure what actually happened because it blocked the. Because I was screen sharing. I'm just going to try to run through this one more time and see if it will work. Otherwise, we might have to save this part of it for next time. It looks like actually the whole app is sort of struggling right now. Let's see if we can get to this. Okay, let's try this one more time. So just try with some project. We'll just run through this one more time. Subscription and create. It ask me to confirm. Okay, let's see if this goes. All right, hey, look at that. Cool. So here's our test project. Obviously this is still a little rough, but it is starting to look good. So now this is the project page that users would see. So the project could share this through, like, for example, their social media channels, and users would come to this if they wanted to fund the project. So let's say now, let's just now assume that I'm not the project maintainer anymore. I'm a user coming to this page, and who wants to support the project, and I'm going to click fund, and so okay, fund this project and receive a unique NFT to show your support and vote on proposals. Cool. The minimum, as we set the minimum monthly rate at 1 DAI, and then these community tokens function kind of like prepaid phone cards or prepaid cards. So the minimum rate is 1, but you can lock however much you want to into this. So I'll just lock in 1 though. We'll just do the minimum for now. And I'm getting, let's see. Okay, here we go. Another MetaMask transaction. So I think, yeah, we're gonna be, boom. I went back to subscribe, actually. I'm not sure if that means it worked or not. Let's see, let me go to my page. I should have, let me try that one more time. It's a little funky. All right, hey, there you go. Okay, second time is the charm. And so, okay, so this is my address. And here we see, boom, a couple of NFTs that I have. These are sort of support membership community tokens. And here's the one that we created a second ago, test project, and it shows, the balance I have locked in, and a little bit of information. This is pretty basic still, obviously. This is the SVG work that I mentioned that's still underway. But then we can actually go to browse this on OpenSea if we want to. So it looks like maybe they haven't discovered it yet because it's new. But yeah, that's the quick demo. As you can see, it's still very much a work in progress, but we're excited that it's starting to take shape, and a lot of the basic functionality is there. So, all right. So what's next? We are going to complete the MVP and deploy it. As I mentioned, probably the 2 big remaining things are getting the SVG graphics fully integrated and the drips feature-wise, and then deploy to mainnet and test. Then I think we're going to be ready to beta test with real projects. We've been talking to a few projects that are excited to try this. But we are always looking for more. So, if any of you are out there in the internets are interested in getting involved, we've had some great people reaching out through the Community Tokens channel in Discord. Love to hear from more people who are interested in this project. And then, open source projects wishing to help with the beta, please get in touch. we would love to work with you and get you out there raising funds early on using these community tokens. So I think that's it from me. I was probably over 5 minutes, so apologies, but thanks.
Nice. Thanks for the demo. I have a question about drips. So you're saying that you're going to, drips will be integrated into the MVP. And so does that mean that as a creator of a project, I can then configure a drip system, aka like where the funding will be distributed to from the any contributions made via the NFT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I can quickly, I'll just jump back to the, share my screen again. I'll go to the Figma that we have, and this is linked in the Discord for anyone who's interested to kind of dive in more detail. But yeah, the drips functionality is something we're really excited about. It is for projects to be able to kind of spread the love and pass funding on to, you know, other different people in the ecosystem. So this kind of shows, let's see, I'm just kind of trying to pick which one to show here, but let's use this one. So down on the bottom of the project page, you know, this is kind of the mock-up for what the project page will ultimately look like. You know, as you can see, a lot of this stuff in the top is there now, but we're still working on some of these other pieces. You know, these would be like number of subscribers and different proposals in Snapshot. But coming down here, this is the drips. So these have kind of generic names, but these names would be, in practice, these would be names of like either addresses of different contributors or names of other projects. And the idea is that the project can kind of you know, spread the funding that it's receiving out to others who are either contributors or other projects. So I think this could be, you know, in practice, it can be any Ethereum address, but we're kind of thinking like of those two main use cases. So like if your project depends on another project, the thought is, you know, you might drip a couple of percentage points of your funding income to that project as a kind of a way to acknowledge that dependency. And there's actually all sorts of cool features connected to that. Like we want to actually allow it so that if that project is on Radicle funding, you know, your project would actually get an NFT, like a supporter NFT, automatically if you drip to that other project and you know, participate in everything connected with that, like, you know, the snapshot voting and access and everything. But it also might be a maintainer. So, you know, if you have a couple of contributors or maintainers that are working on your project, you could drip to them here as well. And if they had, you know, kind of public identity connected to their Ethereum address, people would be able to say, okay, you know, the project is you know, rewarding those contributors. It could also be maybe researchers, you know, people who have written papers or something that have inspired the project. So yeah, that's kind of what drips is, and you know, it's something we're really excited about. We think it's a cool kind of innovative feature. That answer the question, Abbey?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Any other questions for funding? Nope. Cool. Awesome. Getting very excited about the MVP. And we have a bunch of projects, not a bunch in Lisbon, who are super excited to start using it. So I'll be sure to reach out to you guys with some introductions as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. Let's move on to, I guess, maybe Sebastian, we can pass it off to you to do the alt clients, and then I can just wrap up with the community update at the end.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, Cloudhead couldn't make it today because he's off, but since I'm taking over, I'm not having a outlined updates prepared, but I have something to talk about regarding the commit verification and the code contribution rewards we were working on. But eventually, let me talk a little bit about outlines in the name of Ryan and Cloudhead and Alexi. So there's Ryan. So, well, for on one side, today I finished the the testnet faucet for RAD tokens. So this will be something we were hearing a lot about on Discord, where people were asking where to obtain them. Then I think Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were working on the Git authorized pushes, somehow to authorize the way users will push to a repo. Okay, and yeah, then let's dive into a little also Google presentation I made, and hopefully the demo gods will be on my side. So this is I hope you see my screen right now. This is a little presentation, okay, on the commit verification and code contribution rewards. As you can see, the status quo, like to give a little bit of context on the current state, like commit signing usually is being done with a GPG key. And we think, we heard that SSH keys are being worked on or eventually being used. And the information on a Git commit is limited to a name, the username, and the email address, and only the committer GPG key. This is something very like not very secure, because a name and an email address can be changed. In the case, yeah, I mean, if a commit isn't signed GPG, we all know that it's easier to change, to impersonate someone. And also the discovery of these keys for people unknown to them is rather difficult. So yeah, you can like use key servers or some way out of band or eventually in person, which can be the same. So one idea we're working on, we kind of deprioritized it, but still we'll be doing it, is to start using Git trailers on commits to also show the different persons who were involved in a commit. For example, reviewed, authored by, and instead of only using names and emails, we will be signing the commit tree hash with for example, AIP 100 like elliptic curve signature and encoding it. So there is kind of a additional proof to who reviewed or committed. I mean, committed now, but authored or other kind of contributions were made on this commit. This can be like shown with the signature. And also by using the elliptic curve signature, we can also like link a commit with an ETH identity, which is something that's not being like done today. So one of the projects we're talking about with Cloudhead and with Alexi and Ryan, which will be start working in the near future, is for commits which were signed by GPG, is to kind of create a identity node similar to the org node, like kind of a process which can be run to track the identity files on the projects. And we were thinking to include kind of a blob, a JSON blob, something into these identity files, which link a GPG key with a ETH key. And this, like, let me show you 1 second to give kind of a context. This would be something like this. I hope you can see it still. Where some message will be signed with GPG and with ETH and with Ethereum, and this will be stored in these identity files. And as I said in the presentation, this will allow through a API, we can, for example, expose some routes where we can obtain GPG fingerprints, which are linked to these to the Radicle identities or ETH identities, and will allow a more radical way of linking Ethereum with GPG, which yeah, it's not being used today for this. So now all this like goes into the contribution rewards, where the initial idea was to allow a organization to create rewards which a contributor can mint as an NFT. So if there is a particular commit, something which the org wants to reward with an NFT, they can, as I listed here, they can create and sign a proof for this contribution made, then store it as a Git note on the project. And when the contributor discovers this commit, he can claim it by signing a transaction with this proof and the org signature attached. And if everything is okay, the NFT contract, which we'll be using as a central kind of central one for all the orgs, will mint this NFT, and the contributor we will be showing it in the web client, and eventually we can also, with the upstream folks, we can show it elsewhere. So maybe like also give me some demo time here. If we, like I have here the Radicle client tools repo where we, the fingers, where we have different like commits on this repo. So if I want to create if I want to create a reward as an organization on this repo, I can use, well, the reward CLI. I'm staying true to Alexi with using terminal. We're working on the user face, nevertheless. So maybe for the next community call, we'll show something nicer. Where, well, for example, this contributor made some contribution on this commit regarding this Radicle project, and this org wants to reward him. So he would, the org would create this commit, this reward, I mean. Okay, they were nice to me. So here we are, like getting to the Git repo, obtaining the information to sign, then encoding it with AIP 712, which Ryan did a great job on the Ethers RS repo with Giorgio, and yeah. So when this ends, this is also this is off-chain, but the key description takes some time. So here you see for the first commit, the org like behind this repo did this Git node, which is stored in a special ref, which we define as Radicle rewards, so that we can in the future use Git nodes for other uses using the Radicle root. And yeah, here you have the org, contributor, commit, and the VRS parts of the org signature. And then as a contributor, I can use yeah, that's the same issue. I can use the CLI, which will have its subcommands and which won't be working like, which will, yeah, like this, connect itself to the CLI, the crypt, or we can also use Ledger. I'm using key stores here because it's like easier, faster, but it works with Ledger too. So here it shows the commits where the org created. You can see this part of the screen, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where the commits are shown corresponding to the contributor. So he selects a commit, and then the transaction is created for now on Rinkeby. So we have we deployed already 2 or 3 contracts on Rinkeby. And once the the transaction is being like minted, we already should have an NFT showing the the reward. This is the Web3 waiting time. So the reward is being minted. So now if I go here using DevTools, reward contract, I think it's okay. Yeah, so I didn't. No, what happened? 1 sec. Just lost the variable here. Okay. So you can see here this is the NFT token, like with the org. I call the contract on Rinkaby, and yeah, here it's like everything hexadecimal, but in the interface we can then show it much nicer, and yeah. So well, this for the demo, and yeah, plans on particularly on this kind of things. It's kind of difficult. It's not that difficult, but if you have to like create rewards for every commit, and then the contributor needs to claim each and every commit, it's not the best way of doing it. So we are working already on improving this before like deploying the first version, to allow a org to use it as a way, implementing it in the anchor functionality. So if an org creates, for example, an anchor of a particular commit, every commit between the last anchor and the current one, there will be a Merkle tree created with all the commits, and it will be part of the anchor. So if a contributor then wants to claim what's his contributions, the Merkle tree can be searched for this contributor, for this node, and the reward can be minted without like going through each commit. And yeah, that's it. Any questions? Stop. Or also, if you have other questions regarding alt client, eventually me and Ryan can be.
I have a question. Do you guys have a library for the extracting the like metadata out of the commits regarding contributions?
Yeah, we're using Git2RS, I think it's called. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Git2. But there also, I think there are parsers from Radicle, I think, eventually, or we can also change that, since if we obtain the same result.
Cool, thanks.
No problem.
Not a question, but I think that this is really cool, and it's going to be a really awesome thing to see built into our client ecosystem, as it, technically is a way of establishing reputation within a DAO based off of contributions, which is because these NFTs represent these unique things for Ethereum identities. And so that's really, really awesome to see. And I think it's going to be really exciting for DAOs who are working on trying to develop decentralized, developer communities. So I think that will be really cool to see kind of in practice, and it's awesome to see it already working via the CLI. Awesome work. Really excited about it, and we should probably chat more like with Nassar and start figuring out when you guys, what your roadmap is for wanting to ship it to the community as well, and any interface ideas that you have.
Great, thanks, Abbey.
Any other questions, comments? No? Cool, awesome. Great demo, really awesome. Thank you so much, Sebastian. So I'll take a couple minutes just to give a quick community update, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Love having so many demos that we already reached the 1 hour mark without a community speaker. That's pretty cool. So I think I'll share my screen quite briefly to give a little update on what's happening on the community and governance side. Okay, cool. Can everybody see my little Notion page? Yes, great. Cool, so just a couple highlights from the community team. I wanted to highlight that we welcome 2 part-time contributors to the community team, technically under the umbrella. We have Shelby, who is also going to give a quick intro on what she's going to be doing for the Radicle team right after I give this update. As a governance facilitator. So actually I could maybe, I'll go through my update now. No, you should introduce yourself now. We have Shelby, who's joining as a governance facilitator. So she's on the call now, so I thought it would be just great for her to give like a quick 1-2 on what she's working on for Radicle governance. Shelby, I'll keep my screen shared unless you have something that you want to share.
No, I do not, but thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Shelby. I have talked to a few of you already over the past few weeks since starting with Radicle. I am kind of, as governance facilitator, I'm kind of in charge of helping like organize and coordinate the governance working group with Radicle. I am currently also getting my master's in Berlin, studying public policy, which is kind of giving me a cool background of like traditional politics, political governance structures, and then being able to apply that to a decentralized model. So I kind of get to combine those worlds, and I'm really excited. A project I'm really excited about that we're working on right now is the Governance Hub. So I don't know if you're going to mention that later, Abbey, but just wanted to mention it, and everybody should get excited for that.
Yeah, I think that the Governance Hub is Shelby's first project, which will basically be the home base for Radicle governance, which will be where people in the community and within the core team can go to, understand what's happening with Radicle governance, how to participate, and where to find all resources associated with it. We think that having more public knowledge bases for capturing things that are happening within governance is a really important step to making governance accessible for everybody. So that should be posted, I think like this week is when we're gonna be shipping it. So you'll be sure to see that in the channels, but it's just a really great first step towards facilitating governance and making it more available to everybody within the community. So that's really awesome. And we're really excited to have Shelby joining the working group. Cool. So other hot updates with governance is that we're actually moving forward with the proposal for the Radicle grants program. So as people know, grants programs are a really great way to get more developers building, hacking, and using Radicle. And so there's an open proposal right now in governance for funding a grants program via the Radicle Treasury. And this, the Radicle Governance Working Group, which is now me, Shelby, Derek, and Larry, have actually brought on Boredom, who you all know and love from the Radicle community, to lead the Radicle Grants program. So Boredom's going to be taking lead on moving that proposal forward and coordinating the formation of the grants program and committee and everything associated with that. I'd recommend everybody go check out the discussion in Radicle.community around the grants program so you can see kind of what's being proposed. I think that this grants program is also going to be like a really, really good dog-fooded example of Radicle orgs. And we're planning on really trying to build out some new infrastructure around this grants program that hopefully will also be a new approach that we can use to fund little sub-DAOs within the Radicle ecosystem. So that's super exciting, and again, it's going to be like a huge step towards working on these overall project objectives of increasing adoption within the Radicle ecosystem, getting more developers working on the Radicle stack, and trying to give our core teams a way to empower contributors with funding and directed attention. So this will also be an opportunity to submit RFPs and bounties from the core team direct to the community. So I think it'll also be like a huge resource for all of us to support more development and coordinate more development within the ecosystem. So that's a huge update. Again, I would, this is the, what is it called? The thread that's outlining the proposal, and it's going to move into an official snapshot poll probably this week. So also be out on the look for that regarding voting and governance. I wanted to highlight that we've participated in a couple hackathons. We just wrapped up ETH Online last month, and just now, today, we're finalizing the prizes for the Sovereign Data Hackathon that was hosted by Ceramic. So we actually had one bounty out for the Radicle project, which was integrate safety ID with Radicle, so we could add profiles to Radicle orgs. Actually had a submission for that, which is, and the winners are going to be announced later today. I don't want to like leak alpha or anything. I realize that they haven't announced it yet. But this is really cool. I think it's like one of the first community bounties that we've had submitted, integrating Radicle with another project. So I'd be sure to check this out. I'll be tweeting it out later today once the winners are announced as well, and I'll be sure to share it in the community garden channel. And we also have an upcoming hackathon starting, I think it's like tomorrow or next week, I forget, which is hosted by Aragon. So Radicle has also submitted bounties for the DAO tooling workstream, specifically around hacking on Radicle orgs, similar to what we submitted for the ETH Online hackathon as well. So that should be cool. Maybe see some more hacks in the ecosystem there. I realized I forgot to add this. We had like a really cool little community project submitted regarding an integration with Akash for basically doing like a decentralized GitHub pages. Try to find this. I just wanted to highlight this. It's something that I also want to look into. Yeah, it's right here. Which is basically Git-based web pages for Akash and Radicle. So this is really awesome, and I recommend that people look into this and check it out. This is from someone within the Akash community who took a stab at building this out after seeing someone tweeting that they wanted to decentralize GitHub pages. So check it out. Let me know what you think. I haven't played around with it yet, but I'm going to be getting to that this week because I'm very interested to see how it works. So that's kind of just all the updates. Last week we were at Lisbon. Me and Manuel were there from the funding team representing Radicle. It was a really great conference. A lot of really interesting people coming up and asking to get onboarded to Radicle funding and Radicle orgs as soon as possible. So hopefully we'll be seeing some more momentum around that. And what's on the roadmap for this month? NASA and I are like really ramping up orgs adoption. We have this awesome tutorial, basically how to onboard your dev DAO to Radicle, which walks through all of the steps from creating a Radicle identity to creating a Radicle org to launching an org node to configuring that org with an ENS name. All of that stuff laid out in one, kind of like easy to read tutorial, which we want to ship to the community and start working on onboarding different DAOs and projects to the ecosystem, to orgs and to the Radicle stack. And NASA has been kicking ass with tons of meetings with partners, walking people through the process and figuring out how we can get them using Radicle. There's also some interesting governance stuff related to growth and adoption in the community forum. One of those is a proposal from LA to actually reimburse the gas costs of anybody creating an org. Probably going to be like the first 1,000 orgs as kind of a way to bootstrap adoption of the orgs feature. I think that that's going to be moving through governance as well over the next coming weeks, and will be a really cool example of how we can use the Radicle Treasury to support adoption of different Radicle features. And also had a really great conversation with Rabbit Hole, which is a project for onboarding developers to Web3 ecosystems on kind of, taking a stab at creating a Radicle rabbit hole quest to onboard and incentivize people to maintain Radicle orgs. And then the second is more of a call to action than anything. We're going to be like really leaning into building out our marketing team over the next couple of months. So trying to create more of like an open source marketing team for creating onboarding guides, documentation, social media, supporting with events. So I'm looking for a ton of different people to, you know, come on and support this, anything from like social media people to dev relations to product marketers. Basically people who want to kind of like jump into an open source ecosystem and support with increasing accessibility and documentation in the ecosystem. I just realized I'm over time, so I'll end it there. But if anybody has people in their networks that are potentially interested in kind of supporting on that, please throw me some introductions, because I'm going to be really ramping up hiring efforts with that this month and next. So I'll end it there. Any questions for me before we wrap up? No? Cool. Then I think that we'll wrap there to make sure we're staying conscious of everybody's time. Thank you all so much for joining today, and I'll see you all in a month.
Tschüssi.
Great, thanks, guys. Good.
So yeah, bye bye, thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.